Welcome back to Color Class. I'm Sarah.
I'm Lucinda.
And today we're doing something a little bit unique. And we are talking about how do you know if your products are staying fresh or are they currently fresh?
Stable. We're talking about stability. And this is really important because, you know, it seems like every time I look at the news, I hear something about the listeria outbreak or this or that or whatever. And cosmetic products are things you're putting on your skin. And I don't know if you've ever heard of transdermal patches, but the bottom line is your skin has the ability to absorb. You're looking at me like this is so gross. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
but your skin has the ability to absorb things, you know, through it.
Right.
And so that's why it's absolutely critical that you maintain hygiene for your cosmetic products. Well, what does hygiene mean? First of all, you want to make sure those products are fresh.
Right.
Sarah can tell you a little bit about a PAO symbol because we used to be in this industry and this was something that guided us.
I mean, we used to work at a cosmetic company and doing product development. So a PAO symbol is on, like, if you are looking at a skincare jar, you'll see like a little symbol that has an open...
Like the shape of a jar.
Yeah, it's like an open jar, pretty much, is the best way to put it. And it tells you how long you have after you have opened that product.
You might say 12M.
Or 24 months, like however long you can open that product before you need to discard it. And that is very important, especially if you're looking at like a cream where bacteria can keep getting put back into it. Also, if you're looking at any products with vitamin C or retinol, those ingredients are very unstable. So every time it is exposed to light or air, product degrades over time. So by, you know, however long, a couple months after using vitamin C, if it's in like a jar form, it's rendered useless.
Now, be honest. You go look at a cosmetic product, a skincare product, any one of them. Do you know when you bought it? Because they all have shelf lives after that. Shelf lives, I guess. That's the proper way to say it. After you open it. So it's important that you know when you bought it. Because I've got products that probably qualify as antique. Because I don't know. And the other thing is, do you know when it was made? Because only a small subset of cosmetic products have expiration dates on them.
I was going to say that's why I love a lot of Korean skincare, because it does have manufactured date. When I first looked at it, I thought it was the expiration date, but no, it was the manufactured date, which I absolutely love. I think it is so critical, and it should be introduced here in the United States.
Well, frankly, either or, but here in the United States, you get neither, which means, and I know this for a fact, some foundation products could be manufactured at the lab and drawn down on, and then the seller could get maybe 100 of those foundation products and they sit on their shelves. And so there could be years literally that pass with those products sitting there and changing, thickening, and who knows what else. So the industry itself is not self-regulating. They don't really do a good job. So we're going to tell you today how you can do a better job. We're going to give you a little tool that will help you do a better job. But first, you have to do something for us.
Ooh, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe.
She knew what I was going to say.
Now,
getting back to business.
I was going to say, this is all coming from experience.
Yeah, years of it. 10 for her, 30 for me. So we're going to tell you the real deal here. We're not trying to sell you anything. You know, there isn't a cosmetic product we're trying to sell you that, you know, is, you know, ours is better than theirs. We're just giving you the straight facts here. And first of all, how do you know if your product is good or bad? Now, obviously, once we're done here, you're going to start keeping track of when you bought your products. Critical, really important. But if you want to do only a couple of things, anything that goes around your eyes, you've got to keep track.
Mascara is very important.
From the moment you open it, because I'm the kind of person where when Sephora comes out with those sample packs of mascaras,
right,
you know, with like 10 in a pack, I buy one for my daughter, one for Sarah, my daughter. Meet my daughter. And I'll buy one for myself, maybe two, because they're such great deals. And then I'll open one, I'll try it, toss it in my bag. Then I'll open another one, try it, toss it in my bag. Maybe a month later, I'll open another one. I'm thinking I'm going to keep these other two, for later on, so I don't have to buy new one. I'll open it. I'll have no idea, none whatsoever, how old the mascara is that I'm picking up and putting right on my eyeball. Not good. So as far as the products go, once we give you this little tool, and you do that religiously, we will be very proud of you. And then the other thing you can look for in products is smell. If a product is going bad, it will smell off. And more about that later, but just make sure that you give it the whiff test. It's not that hard. You also want to look for consistency changes or color shifts. So sometimes a cream that started out white, you'll open it and it will be yellow.
It goes a little yellow.
Toss it. Get rid of it. Sometimes a product, you'll notice that the texture has changed. Like sometimes lipsticks, you'll go to put the lipstick on and the tube won't move. It'll be like, and the lipstick will have become like rubber. And I'm having a hard time with the consistency. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was going to say it becomes like a cakey. Like it's really thick and
it just doesn't go on. And it's like, now, obviously.
Crumbly too. It can turn crumbly.
Obviously, you would toss that. Anything that irritates your skin that didn't used to irritate your skin. In other words, if you put a new product on and it irritates your skin, that's a different matter. You return it, find something that's better for sensitive skin.
Right.
But if all of a sudden you haven't used a product for a few weeks or whatever, or you're starting to use a heavier moisturizer for winter and you put it on and suddenly you're all broken out, toss it. It means it's probably gone bad. Now, I have a funny story. If you watch her face, she will know immediately what I'm about to tell you. And she may or may not let me tell you. So can I tell my story?
Of course.
Okay. So again, we were working in the cosmetic industry. And so we got a product back from a customer who was unhappy. Now this happened a lot, and sometimes the customers, we had a 30-day guarantee. Sometimes the customers would use all of the product and send us the empty jar back. And we honored it because that was our promise. You'll love this product or whatever. But we get this product back from this lady who says, this product just burned my daughter's skin. It was a scrub. And I was like, that's impossible. We've made this product for 10 years. Puh. I'm going to put it on my own face.
And it got approved too. Like we were within, our company, it goes through approval processes. And we were like, but the problem is we were like, did anyone try this before approving it?
And the manufacturers go through a whole stability test and testing, whatever. So we had reason to believe the product was fine. So I said, you know what? Best test. I'm going to put it on my face because I have pretty sensitive skin, right? So I'm like, I'm all proud and I'm going to put it on my face. I'm going to prove that there's nothing wrong with this product. Slap it on my face. So I'm sitting there and I'm doing something else. And Sarah heard me scream.
She's like, wait.
And I was like, ah. And I go running into the bathroom to wash my face because it was burning. This customer, God love her, did not exaggerate. It was burning. And when I came back, what did you see?
Well, did you have the red marks on your face?
But they weren't as big as yours. So, well, that's part of the story. So then I had little red marks on my face. I looked a little bit like a Campbell Soup kid, remember?
Well, you only did a small patch, right?
Exactly. So Sarah, who is like the show me person, she's like, I'll believe it when I see it myself.
When it burns myself.
So Missy here,
I'm like, you know what? I could use a real good exfoliation.
So she a chemical burn. She slathers that stuff all over her cheeks.
Two big patches of it on my cheeks.
And she's like, she's going to prove it's fine.
Yep.
So I don't think you screamed. I think you just hightailed it out of the...
No, I did it at home that night.
Ah, that's right.
So I took it home and I was like, all right, I'll do it tonight. See what happens just to check it out. It burned two
big circles,
bright circles on my face
that were on her face the next day when she walked in.
Yes.
She looked like she had really had an unfortunate episode with her blush or something. Campbell Soup kid. And, you know, Sarah's got these gorgeous, beautiful cheeks.
It was,
and they're full. And all of a sudden she had Raggedy Ann circles on her face.
Yes, it was so bad.
Any kind of irritation. You don't have to burn your face. You don't have to burn
Right.
big circles into your face. Whatever.
Right.
Any kind of irritation. If you're getting irritation, throw the product away.
But that just goes to show you kind of at the end of the day, you do need to also trust the companies that you're purchasing from. Like, it should be a very good relationship between you and the company that you are purchasing from.
And there's certain companies that stake their reputation on their sensitivity, like Bare Minerals, Clinique. You know, and I'm speaking old school.
I wouldn't say Clinique at all.
Okay.
Ugh.
See, did you hear me go? I'm speaking old school. Sarah can give you a list at the end of the video of companies that have reputation for having excellent, high quality, low sensitivity products.
Right.
Now, I also have a pet peeve. Can I talk about my pet peeve?
Oh, absolutely.
Parabens. So I say parabens, you say, ooh.
Run away.
Right. But there has never been any test that has shown that parabens are bad for us, human beings. Never in any cosmetic quantity. A test showed that when you just dumped parabens onto rats everywhere, that the paraben was converted to an estrogen-like hormone. Then suddenly there was this big craze to just get rid of paraben. Everything needed to be paraben free. But parabens had a job to do. Parabens kept your products stable and fresh, and they kept them from going bad. So in this rush to yank parabens out of products everywhere, what happened?
The products went bad.
Exactly. Started going bad right and left. This manufacturer, you know, in 1 month they say, we've gone paraben free. Yay. You know, advertising, marketing claim, which is really what it was.
Right.
2 months later, you know, you have that product and it has turned to jelly. It's gone bad. So personally, I have a real issue with the whole paraben free craze.
I guess how it came about was the issue. It's nice that, you know, they're removing products like parabens from things, but the way it came and happened so quickly.
I guess, yeah, it's kind of nice, except they didn't really, the only thing they did to the product was keep it stable. Now, if they found other as effective product stabilizers as parabens were, you run the risk of those down the road having some sort of issue too. So I tell you this not because you're going to find a product with paraben in it and you're going to go, yay, at least I know this is fresh. You know, because it was such a craze that everybody kind of had to go on that bandwagon, although there might be a few.
Well, there's even, like, here in the United States, the regulations are not as strict. So there are a lot of products here in the U.S. that are banned, and other ingredients in the U.S. that are in products that are completely banned in, like, the EU.
Japan
Yes.
is very strict.
Right. So if you have a product that is within the EU regulations, that's even better. I mean, that is one of the things I look for when I look for product is, would this pass in, like, the European Union, where there is a lot more safety put to the test when it becomes, especially with SPF. That's another thing.
You used to see SPF everywhere, and it was avobenzene and, you know, things that had long names and whatever. And Sarah started researching. And she said, you know what? We can't use these anymore. We have to go to the simple SPF, tried and true, zinc oxide.
Titanium. Yeah.
Right. You know why? The ocean reefs.
Bleaching the coral reefs.
Yes. And that's why it got banned.
In some like, more like tropical areas. So like Hawaii, Key West. There are a lot of ingredients that are banned in typical sunscreens around here.
Bottom line, Sarah's right. You know, if you can find products that are EU compliant,
I would say that's
good on you.
Right. That's, I think I mean, Japanese products too, they have such a good, rigorous testing structure. Because here in the US, it's kind of willy-nilly. Like, even when we talk about shelf life, products will just sit on shelves in a warehouse, just sitting there.
Well, let's talk about the life of a product. So it gets made. It goes to the warehouse where it sits either at the developer,
hopefully
at the lab, or possibly in the warehouse of the person, the people who are selling it.
And I was going to say, hopefully it's temperature controlled. Hopefully.
But not always.
Exactly.
And do you know how they test the stability of products? They put it in heat. So a stability test, and you have to go through stability testing on certain products at the lab. They have usually a little oven, and they put the product in the little oven for how long? 3 months?
There's different tests that you can do. And you don't even have to pay for all of them, which is the scary part. Like, you can just forgo stability testing.
Say, never mind. So what happens is it sits on a shelf in a warehouse, and maybe that warehouse is not climate controlled. So then how long has it been sitting in that warehouse? Then it gets transferred to a distribution center. Say it's being sold on Amazon. It sits in the distribution center at Amazon. Now that will always be climate controlled.
Amazon's getting pretty good too, because they restrict like when you can ship lipsticks in. So Amazon is actually doing
safer place to buy. Yeah.
Right. I'm surprised. I mean, it's actually pretty good.
But let's say that, okay, shouldn't have mentioned Amazon. Let's take them out of the equation. So it's sitting on the shelf. Then it's got to be, so it may or may not be temperature controlled. And then it's got to be shipped to you in the heat.
If it's like the middle of summer.
Right. So let's say you're on vacation. It gets shipped to you and it sits in your mailbox where it is really stability tested, where it goes through rigorous testing, because what that heat is doing is it's saying to any of those little minute germs and bugs or whatever bacteria that are in that product naturally. Right. I mean, let's face it, the filling process, you have empty containers. They're not sterilized,
right?
You know, at the point of fill. They may have been sitting around in a box and, you know, for a while, right? With no lid on them, because you can't fill a product with a lid on it. So they're empty containers without a lid. Then they go through the fill line, they get filled up, and they get their lid, whatever. But there will be contaminants in that product.
Right.
Now, things like parabens used to deal with some of the contaminant issues that would keep any bacteria that were in there at bay. So without parabens, the stability of these products is kind of willy-nilly.
Some of them. I mean,
so
we now have replacements for parabens, I guess.
And personally, I don't think they're as good.
Yeah. It's going to be a slightly more natural.
But it gets shoved into your mailbox, and there it cooks. Or it's shoved in the back of a truck, a USPS truck. There it cooks. It's getting stability tested from point A to point B to point C to point D. So it's already been kind of run through the ringer.
Right. And if you have active ingredients like vitamin C, remember, what did we talk about? Light and heat degrade vitamin C. So say you order a vitamin C anything and it's been sitting around all these different spots, it's rendered useless at that point.
More or less. And then you open it. And sometimes they'll give you a little spatula. And I use it the first time.
First couple times.
Yeah. Then that spatula disappears. It just poof. It evaporates into thin air. I think they are made to just disintegrate into dust. Because who has their spatula still? Give us a comment down below if you still have a spatula for your skincare product and you still use it and you don't put your fingers in it.
You know what's so funny is I have a product upstairs right now and the spatula is in the jar. And like, how useless is that? Like, I literally just left it in the jar because I kept putting it on the top of the skincare jar where I kept using my hand to open it. And I was like, I could have just stuck my finger in it.
which she does. Now, what happens when she sticks her fingers in her products? Contamination, more contamination.
Right.
So we tell you all this not to scare you, but to make you aware that there's a situation, brewing here. And you have to be really careful what you put on your face.
And trust your manufacturers. That is a complete key to this whole thing. You need to trust who you are purchasing from.
Although, give me somebody that you trust.
Or cosmetics or skincare?
Let's go with skincare.
I love if I can find a product online that is from Korean skincare online companies. There's like Olive something, and it has the manufacturer date. Oh, I love that.
Okay, that's fine. Give me another one. Give me a typical American company that people might buy from, but that you really trust.
That's super popular that I trust.
But you really trust.
I get good vibes from Tula.
Okay. Now, if you look at Tula, likely, let's say you look at Tula on Amazon, and you'll see your Tula as the store, and then you're buying directly from Tula through Amazon, yeah? You'll also see second and third party sellers who may have batches of Tula to sell.
Or knockoffs.
Yeah, but let's say it's the real deal. They're selling Tula too. So you might look over on the left side of your Amazon screen and you'll see 5 different companies that are selling the same Tula product. Buy it from Tula. Don't buy it from anybody else because once again, you don't know how long it's been sitting on the shelf, where it's been, where it's going, etc.
But I don't even know if they sell on Amazon, so that might be a really bad example. But
okay. Just go with me on this.
Yeah.
It's when people do somebody you trust.
Oh my goodness. You know what else we forgot?
Tell me.
The shipping process. If it ships by sea, oh my goodness.
So let's say your lipstick products come from Italy. There's a very good lipstick manufacturer in Italy. Very good. But you can have them shipped by air, which is very expensive, or you can stick them on a boat. And then they sit for a month.
Months.
Coming over from the point of manufacturer to the United States, where they go to a warehouse where they sit and sit.
Right.
And sit. And then they start that whole process of point A to point B to point C. And they're irradiated because when something sits on a boat, like let's say that something is coming here from Italy or from the UK or from China or wherever, when something sits on a boat, mold grows. So it has to be irradiated to make sure that you kill the mold. Because something sitting on a boat, if let's say you went and sat on a boat, under a boat, inside a boat for 30 days, you'd be moldy too. I mean, it's gross. So this is, you get these beautiful jars of cosmetics and you paid a week's salary for this perfect, wonderful thing. And you just don't know what that perfect, wonderful thing has been through.
Yeah. The regulations are just not where you would think they should be when it comes to cosmetics. I mean, they have ingredient labels, not to scare you, but ingredient labels could literally say anything. Who's checking them?
Yeah, and do. Now, having said that, sometimes a decent filler will work with the cosmetic company and say, this is what we're putting in this product. Let me see your label.
Yes.
We're not going to fill it until we see your label.
Yeah, there are some really good structured labs that will do that. Or they also check your trademarks. They check your copyright, your MSDS sheets. Like, there are some really strong labs out there. And then there's some other willy-nilly ones. Fly by day? Fly by night?
Fly by night. People who are flying by day, that product gets here fast.
Okay. Well, then there's the fly by night people. And you're like, I'm not using that.
So once again, brands you trust And this is just a little tip about lipsticks. How do you know when a lipstick's gone bad?
Well, I mean, are we talking consistency, smell? Are we talking
I'm
about
talking
shelf
about
life?
the surefire way. Before you put it on your lips, what you do every time you pick up a lipstick.
I would smell it.
Sniff test.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. If it smells like crayons, toss it.
Blech.
Because
That has been sitting for months.
it's gone rancid. That is what's happened. It's oxidized. It has become rancid. Now, you might say to me, well, are my kids' crayons rancid? Well, kind of. They're made of wax, cheap wax. And the wax is not really stable. It's just wax. When your lipstick starts to smell like crayons, that means the wax is kind of taken over and the product is degraded and it needs to be tossed out. Now, my challenge to you for today, just so you feel like, I spent time with these people and, now I need to do something productive, go to your makeup drawer, and I'm sure you have one, and I'm sure it's full of stuff you never wear. If you're like me, you have several. Get in there, sniff your lipsticks.
Sniff them all.
Sniff them all. And I guarantee you will find quite a few that need to be tossed.
Well, now that we've completely scared you guys, because I think about this all day, every day. But now that we've terrified you, we are going to give you a sheet. We'll put it up on Patreon now, and it just keeps track of when you purchased what, how many months you should be using it. So like your mascara, 0 to 3 months. Your foundations can be like 12 to 24 months.
12 to 18.
Or yes. Powders are 12 to 24.
Or mostly 24.
Blushes, the same thing if it's a powder blush
Now,
versus
this is
a liquid.
for color cosmetics only. This is the sheet that I use. And just a tip, every time you buy products, like if you go to Sephora or Ulta, you'll probably buy 3 items. That sheet is for that day. So you put the date on it, and then you say, I bought a lipstick. This is the lipstick. This, date. And here I put I got this, put the date, and this, put a date, stick in the file. Then you can go back and see when you purchased these items. And it may seem that we're being kind of over complex about this, but I guarantee you, if you start to do it, you will be happy you did it. Now, you don't have to use my sheet. Sarah has a thing about paper.
I just set alarms.
Yeah, I'll say, I bought you a book today, honey. A great vegan cookbook. And she'll go, take it back. I don't read books.
I was
does.
like, I already have it on Kindle.
That's right. She does it digitally. So the bottom line is, I've given you my paper copy in case there are any of you out there, any few of you who still would want to download it and keep it on paper. Sarah's idea is very ingenious. She's going to share that with you now.
You just set alarms. When you purchase something, setting your alarm however long. And when it goes off, it's time to toss. I do that mostly with mascaras. I usually run through lipsticks pretty quickly or I toss them out. But with mascaras, it is key. And I would recommend buying the smaller mascaras because you don't usually go through it in 3 months.
The trial size.
Right. So if you find the trial size mascaras, purchase those instead of the full component ones or the full product, because then you go through it 3 months, you have to purchase a new one. It keeps it clean. You don't have any issues around your eyes. So I would do that.
Does Sephora still or Ulta still do those mascara samplers at Christmas, or have they stopped that?
No, I think they still have some.
Coolest deal ever. And look for this when the holidays come. They'll put 6 different brands of mascara, good mascaras like Too Faced, like
Tarte.
It Cosmetic.
I'm a huge
Christian Dior
tubing mascara person now, so I don't really buy those anymore because I only buy tubing mascara.
Interesting. Well, I do. So if you buy the traditional kind of mascara, they come in like 6 to a pack. Then they also have a coupon where, depending on which one you loved, you can go back and get a full size.
I don't think they do that part anymore.
Okay.
I think they just give it, It
used to be a really good deal. But
it was.
Still, Sarah's absolutely right. Trial size mascaras are the best because you don't want to have it last forever. The other thing you don't want to have last forever, and it will, is eyeliner. Eyeliner pencils.
Yes.
You will look in your drawer and have eyeliner pencils that you had in high school. Guaranteed. I mean, let's face it. Who uses their eyeliner pencil down to the nub? Have you ever done it?
No, I haven't.
I've never done it. But if you're not keeping track, that eyeliner pencil you're supposed to toss in that 3 to 6 month window.
Yeah, that's true.
It goes right on your eyes.
Mm-hmm. All right, so if you want our digital download for the different products, when they expire, how long to keep them, and then your date. So that will be available on Patreon for you. Remember, you can sign up. You can have a free tier if you would like. You can also do a paid tier. There are benefits to all the different versions. So go through them, check out what you see, what you think. We also are available on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. What else should we talk about? Oh, our color portfolio. Those are available. You can join our waitlist on our website. It's if you want a color analysis, or you can hop on over to Patreon. And our Patreon Hue Heroes, we are still going through our Hue Heroes. They get first open time slots for our digital color analysis. And then our color enthusiasts,
yes,
and then our free members on Patreon, and then we'll open it up to our email wait list.
And we are working diligently to get through. And the most heartbreaking thing that happens is we'll tell people when we're going to open slots, and they'll set their alarm clocks to make sure that they grab those slots, and then there are people who just miss them.
And then lastly, we here on YouTube, if you want to help us out, liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing is the best way to do that. We do appreciate all the support we have been getting, and we thank you. So lastly, I'm Sarah.
I'm Lucinda.
This has been another color class, and we'll see you in our next video.